joining Hawaii Wellness Network, and today we have Dr. Barry Nutter, which I have known for a very long time.
That's right.
Thank you for coming. We're very honored.
Oh, well, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, there's so many people that I know that actually have been to your office and benefited, and I have heard many, many stories over the years. So would you like to tell a little bit about your practice? I mean, you just have so many credentials and you work with so many different modalities, but first you're a chiropractor, and then what other degrees and modalities do you work with?
Okay, so actually first I was a Rolfing practitioner. So I studied Rolfing, and I was here Rolfing in Hawaii for about 10 years. And then I went back to school to study chiropractic. And while I was in chiropractic school, I went to acupuncture school, and I started studying natural medicine. But now I have returned to my first love, and that's Rolfing. So I do more Rolfing really than anything else. And along the way, I learned how to do what's called electrodermal screening. And I got involved working with frequency technologies that promote healing. So I work with an instrument called the beam ray. I work with another instrument called the Diacom biofeedback. And I work with a synchronicity color wave system that we have set up in our office. So all these generate a frequency that reduces chaos in the person's life and in their energy field, and they feel better, right away from just coming into the field. The beam ray itself is using frequencies to stop disease patterns that people might have. And if you know they have viruses or bacteria, you can turn on the program for that specific virus and bacteria, and it will kill off the virus and bacteria. So most people come to me because they have an ache or a pain or something that's not going away, and they've heard that maybe I could fix it.
Right. And they've been to every doctor and they're frustrated. Nobody's giving them any definite decisions or choices of what to do or how to treat it.
And it's funny how I never really liked working with cancer patients. I was afraid to. So this was about 16 years ago when I first started working with the beam ray, and then people came, they said, I heard this will help cancer. And I said, well, I don't know if it will or not. I couldn't promise you that, but you can try it. So people got well. My mother got cancer, and she used the beam ray, and in 2 months she got rid of the cancer in her colon and her liver. So that made me a believer of what that frequency technology could do. So just today I have 2 patients that I started working with that both have cancer. One's on Maui, one's in the hospital here at Queens. And I'm just working with them along with their doctors to help them with frequencies that will help them feel lighter, a little easier. And but then I always, those patients that I'm seeing, they're Rolfing patients. They came in because of something else. They said, oh, by the way, I have a 4-stage cancer, could you help me with that? Because they don't expect that I could. So I find that I don't really help them with it. I help them learn what they can do to help themselves. It's usually diet and using the frequency generators and using them at the right way.
Right, so it's almost like, first of all, detoxing them.
Detox,
yes, and figuring out what's going on in their lifestyle that's not working, so their immune system's compromised.
Right.
How to get the immune system working.
Right. So just recently, the greatest thing that I've had a lot of fun with for myself and for patients is there's a thing called an intestinal repair kit. It's made in Germany by a homeopathic company, and you take very low doses of homeopathic remedies, but it's targeted for your small intestine, which is about 11 feet of your digestive tract. And, no, I'm sorry, about 22 feet of your digestive tract. The colon is maybe 11 or 12 feet or something like that. But this intestinal repair kit seems to help the villi in the small intestine repair, where gluten has got it all discombobulated and not working right. So it's a 5-week program. People go through that. They might change their diet a little bit, but it's very gentle. And that is the immune system right there. The small intestine is where your food comes down the pipes, it's broken down, and there is where it's absorbed. So if it cannot be broken down far enough to be absorbed, then it's going to putrefy in that part of the digestive tract.
So do you find that you're getting a lot more requests for that now because people's diets are so
a lot,
bad?
yeah. because people are, they're constipated, or they have diarrhea, or they have both, they have one or the other, and they have bloating, gas, those things. And I've had those too,
Right.
And I always look back and see, well, I can't eat cake and ice cream and like I could
Well,
when
you
I was
can, but you're gonna have consequences.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, remember when we were little, we'd go to a ball game or something, and we'd have a Coke and popcorn, and then we would eat a hamburger or a cheeseburger, then after that we'd eat
right.
ice cream, never bother you, but the day that would kill you.
Right, you can't do the same thing in your 40s and 50s.
Right, yeah, it's not the same.
Is that because it's just a buildup of all those years and the aging process, or
It
why
is.
is
It's a
that?
buildup of those years, so they can go down your throat and look into your stomach. They can go in your rectal area and look at your colon with a colonoscopy. But there's no study to go into the small intestine and look at the villi. And I had never thought about that much before. They actually do have a camera that you can swallow. It's in a capsule. And as you swallow the camera, it takes pictures all the way through your digestive tract, and then you fish it out of the toilet in the end, and then develop
That's
the film.
interesting. Wow.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I had a patient that was really sick, and finally she was in Queens, and I had heard about this. I talked to her GI doctor, and I said, could she possibly do that? And he said, oh yeah, we can, but insurance doesn't pay for it. She said she would pay for it. So when they developed the film, they found there was about 11 inches of her small intestine that was just like raw. It was just like raw meat, almost bloody. So they, put her on a very strict diet right away, and gave her some medicine to help that heal up.
And what caused that? Just from not eating properly and digesting for all those years, or?
Not eating properly and drinking alcohol. She was a drinker.
Right. So other chemicals and drugs and prescriptions.
Yeah,
Everything you contribute.
that true. Yeah, that also. Yeah.
So you're good at finding challenges. So if someone out there,
Yeah, I like challenges.
we'll put that out there.
Yeah, I
If they're
do.
not getting answers, then.
Yeah.
And have you had a background like with nutrition, so you can kind of help with people's diets or give suggestions?
Yeah,
on
I
nutrition?
study nutrition, and my favorite diet to help people with is just find out what they like to eat, and then I do a test with them to test the foods that they're sensitive to. So they might be sensitive to gluten, milk, wheat, the common allergens, chocolate, coffee. So if they will give them the list, if they stay off of those foods for 90 days, they have miraculous results, just because they're eating foods that don't really work for them and their body can't digest them. And a lot of that food sensitivity comes from heavy metals. So the person is eating the foods that have metals in them, and the metals accumulate in their tissues, and then they start to develop allergies to foods. Whereas when they were younger, they ate those things, never bothered them.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people come to me and they think, well, I'm allergic to spinach, or I'm allergic to this, and that's just the way it is for the rest of their life. But you can work with them and help detox, and they can maybe, is there a way they can eat those foods again if you correct the body, or sometimes people can't eat those?
Yes, you can. They come back and we retest them to see if they're still sensitive to them. So far, I've only had one patient that was not sensitive to the foods again, and then he went back to eat the foods. But he was overweight. He lost about 30 pounds, during the time he stopped eating those foods. But he didn't go on a diet. He just stopped eating those foods. His love handles went away, and he was really excited about that. And then he was glad to get back to eating the foods. But people can usually tell when they start eating the foods again that they don't feel good when they eat those foods, because they were feeling better not eating them.
Right, and they can tell a difference now.
Yeah.
That you got them healthy and detox.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how does someone get in touch with you if they'd like to get you offer consultations? And
Free consultations. So I always want to meet people before we start working with them and see what we can do to help them. And I might need to refer them to somebody else rather than see me.
Right, to see if you can help them. And
if I can.
Great. And would you like to give your phone number and your website?
Sure. My website is drbarrynutter.com, and my phone number is 808-358-9777.
Great. And you're also in the Hawaii Wellness Directory.
I'm in the Wellness
Yes,
Directory. Yeah.
Find you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So wonderful. Well, thanks for coming on, and I'm excited to hear all the challenges that are going to come to you. And
Yeah.
well, thank you for joining us. And
Okay, thanks,
I can't
Lily.
wait to hear all the great stories in 2014.
Okay, well, I'll collect some stories for you.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.